Hey guys, Butts here, and today I'm going to be talking about, well, I guess mostly what I've been playing over the past like 24 hours, which really degenerate, but you know, PoE League's crazy. I've mostly been playing PoB if we're being honest, but that's just my normal MO. But yeah, I've been playing Poison Ballista, in particular, mostly Poison Artillery Ballista, which you see in this showcase here. And I also played Caustic Arrow of Poison to a lesser extent, and then to an even lesser extent, I played Scourge Arrow of Menace. I kind of like them in that order. That's kind of why that is the way it is. But yeah, I didn't really like try to get like really good footage. This is just like I just was doing a bunch of Shaper Guardians, so I just started recording them. Anyways, yeah, I can talk about this build. This is kind of like a follow-up to the Perfect Agony build or video I made, where I was talking about how powerful Vinespoke Cordial is alongside Inextricable Fate. This is kind of taking advantage of that. Like I have a 1000 EDPS bow. I have tons of flat LE everywhere, and Artillery Ballista is 100% to fire, so normally couldn't poison, but since we hit so frequently, we can take advantage of Vinespoke Cordial alongside Inextricable Fate, so that after those first 3 hits, all of our elemental damage will poison the enemies that have been hit with 3 vines. Normally you'd have to wait a second and a half with Inextricable Fate, which makes them like strictly bossing boots, but now I think you can just actually play builds like this. I think bows, it's even easier than like most setups because you can use Mana Forge to like get those initial like 3 hits so that your like main damage dealing skill can apply the poisons immediately. Like you wouldn't want to play something like Burning Arrow or something, you know, that doesn't hit very frequently. I guess you could if you Mana Forge out like something fast like Storm Rain, like what I'm doing in this. The same reason I was like kind of high on doing things like cast on crit setups, because if you're doing something like Lancing Steel or Blast Rain, you're going to hit the enemy like 3 times with your like enabler before your spell actually goes off, so that it will apply poison. Like, I don't know, let's say you want to play really badly Lancing Steel cast on crit Spark or something, right? Like the Lancing Steel is going to apply those 3 hits first, so that when the Spark actually comes out, it's going to be poisoning. By the way, just kind of surprised that people aren't playing more Spark. Poison Spark. People love Spark. So I don't know, it's a little surprising to me. But anyways, yeah, I would say this fight against Minotaur is like a really good example of one of the huge downsides to Artillery Ballista over Caustic Arrow, is like the visual clutter is a nightmare. Especially this MTX. It's a lot worse with this MTX. It's better with the base skill. But look, I mean, it looks so badass. It's like all pink and I don't know. But yeah, just use normal one if you don't want to die, because pretty confident I die in this, and I don't remember exactly. But well, I was gonna wait. I mean, I thought for sure I was gonna die. Okay, I can talk more about the specifics of my actual build, and if you guys feel like this kind of video is like lazy, please let me know, because I kind of feel like it is, but I'm still pretty new to the whole YouTube thing and what kind of content I should be making, so if you guys find this helpful, I will continue to make them, and I mean, they're pretty easy to make, obviously, so there's no downsides for me, but yeah, if you don't like them, please just let me know, or if you do, you know, either way. Preamble aside, so this build is, like I said, taking advantage of Inextricable Fate, which says 3 Grasping Vines, we all damage poisons, and we do that by getting Vinespoke Cordial, which just means that all of our hits apply Grasping Vines for enemies with less than 8. But we only need 3, so after the first 3 hits, all damage poisons, and we get to take advantage of something like this, like a big Tri-Alley Bow. This is like about 1000 DPS or something, and we get to take advantage of all this. Like if you're just playing a Fizz bow, like you'd be pretty happy to have like a 500 DPS bow or like 600, it's like somewhere in that range. So you get a lot more damage out of that. I get increased elemental damage like pretty much everywhere. This is like 60 LE damage on it. This is flat LE, increased LE damage attacks, more flat LE. Like you can get flat LE like everywhere, and increased like elemental damage with attacks like everywhere. Like I could use a taming. Like you get the idea. It's way easier to scale your damage when you can use elemental versus just Fizz and Chaos. And as you can see, this tree looks just like a normal like bow crit tree for the most part, right? Like just like multi-shot, like the crit bow nodes here, additional arrows, and then the crit totem nodes here. But we are Perfect Agony, and that's because we're using Ungol's Harmony. This character should be crit capped. I think it's very close, if not like 99 point something percent. And the reason for that is Ivory and Spine, just a tangent, I guess. Like Ivory versus Spine usually doesn't really matter if you're going for Tri-Alley Bow, because like the Fizz component really doesn't add that much to the actual damage. Spine Bow would certainly be better, but just, you know, one added benefit of this is also this was not intentional, by the way. This is just kind of nice. I get to dumpster all my dexterity here because I only need this 140 fizz, or 140, yeah, 152 dex versus 212. So I can get flash duration here, which I will plan on doing. Maybe some resistances. But yeah, with all that aside, yeah, it's perfect agony because this like crit stuff, like for bows, is just so efficient right here. Like originally I was coming down to lethality, but there's just so much good crit nodes right here that I think it makes a ton of sense to go agony because you have a good 6.5 base crit, like base you want to use anyway. So it just like getting up to 8 crit makes it pretty easy to go crit if you can reliably get power charges and have access to like decent crit nodes like bows definitely do. Since we are a bow build, you could automate things like power charges because I have a mana forge set up, which gets me my frenzy charges and it gets me my power charges. And since I'm like incredibly lazy, I'm cast on critting my temp chains. I would also be putting my despair there as well if I could get this 6 link, but still pretty early. Like, I don't feel like spending the resources to actually link this. But yeah, eventually we'll get this down to just 2 buttons, and that'll be nice. Honestly, kind of want to add more buttons. We're getting a little like antsy, you know. I like what I do with my hands. But anyways, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in particular I need to talk about with this. So one thing I will say, I'm not very happy with the way this tree is set up. This tree is like very jank. I'm taking a Lyra because I need the resistances. I'm using a bunch of resistance jewels, taking resistances here, fixing my stats in really gross ways. This build's very unique heavy because it's really hard on a Ballista build to not use Wilmas. Just Wilmas is so much. It's like one totem, which is already a lot of damage, but it giving you like a different scaling vector of making all your cast speed scale your attack speed means that something like haste is just twice as good. This essentially reads 48% attack speed, which is crazy for an aura. But Ballistas have an incredibly easy time getting onslaught because you can get sleepless sentries. So like we always have onslaught, which is another 40% attack speed. So yeah, it's hard to not use something like Wilma's, but it does make the inner requirement pretty high, which has been quite annoying. Yeah, and then obviously you need to use Inextricable Fate. I want to be Perfect Agony, so I need to use Uncle's Harmony. If you didn't go Perfect Agony, it'd probably be a little bit easier because you use a different amulet. But I'm going to be an Ungle's main this league. Actually, I had to delete a character called Ungle's main that I had in standard because I claim that back. But anyways, yeah, this character has a lot of problems. I think the core concept is good. That's why I don't want to share my POB because I'm kind of embarrassed by it. But I think the shell here is good. It just needs a lot of love to like actually clean it up. I'm not happy with our fizz mitigation. My chaos res is still pretty bad. That's just been kind of hard to get because like again, like we're using a lot of uniques, so I need a lot of resistance everywhere. We're on an entirely dex part of the tree and we need strength and intelligence. Like I need 96 strength here and then I need like 120 for the Wilmas. But yeah, so we have a lot of things we need to actually cover. I am going to switch to melding. That is like my next plan of this. I didn't even consider this because this is like a late game thing you do like in hardcore trade. This is like the first softcore league I played in like 3 years. This was like 70C or something ridiculous. It's like this, it kind of blew my mind. Sorry, it just like blew my mind. This thing's usually so expensive. Like the defensive options are like so cheap over here. It's just kind of sick. But which is funny because like this character is like not very tanky. But I need to fix that. So yeah, I'll be fixing that. I think I'm gonna go melding and then use like a bismuth flask. Like drop. I'm going to be like essentially drop this, pick up a bismuth flask, pick up a granite flask with increased armor on it. Maybe get a little bit more armor somewhere else, not entirely sure how, but I want to try to get to like 10,000 to 20,000 armor. Like I'd be happy with, like 10 would be fine because I think mapping with like 20,000 armor is like pretty safe. It's like shit against something like Shaper Slams, but don't get hit by that. Like you're not supposed to get hit by slams anyway. So, so it's fine. But long story short, Lightning Coil makes like your armor like essentially like twice as good, right? Because it's like mapping with or like having Lightning Coil with 10k armor is like the equivalent to like not having Lightning Coil with 20. So you don't need to get quite so high for the armor to be incredibly effective. You could also do mid endurance charges, but I think I'm gonna go armor. Might try to go mid endurance charges. The funny thing is the mid endurance charges are kind of make sense in some way because then we could use Grand Spectrum Jewels for like 3 minimum charges, and then we could use one of them for like 45 res, which hilariously is like pretty good for us because again we just need the resistances, especially if we go melding. Like melting plus lightning coil is just like the wombo combo to delete your ability to actually get resistances. So I really don't want to use purity of elements. Yeah, so bismuth I think will go a really long way. It should give us like 100 all res. So that'll like cancel out the melting entirely. So that's probably enough. I think giving up a flash slot for that is acceptable because melting is so powerful. I think that's everything I want to talk about with this build in particular. I guess like last thing is I think I already touched on it, but like the reason I'm using Artillery Ballista and Caustic Arrow Poison mostly is because they hit very frequently, making the downside of having to hit 3 times first for Vine Spoke plus this to actually start dealing damage, because you start dealing damage your 4th hit. So you don't want to play something like Burning Arrow where you like hit once, right? Like unless you're like mana forging a bunch of shit out so that by the time it hits, it's actually poisoning. But yeah, that's why I'm doing that. And eventually I will try Scourge Arrow Menace again, but it doesn't hit a ton, and it does significantly less damage than Artillery and Caustic Arrow. Like I don't know, I assume like by a factor of 3 or so. It's quite a bit less. In my gear, like I'm on a 5 link, I'm spending a ton of stuff on like resistances and stats, so I don't have the kind of gear to justify using a skill that's not as mechanically strong. Later on, I will try it again once I have better gear, but for now, I think I have to play mechanically strong skills like Caustic Arrow Poison or Artillery Ballista. Yeah, and I'm going to be playing, I can almost guarantee I'm going to be playing a Cast on Crit Perfect Agony Ungles build. I've played those plenty before, but they're usually like borderline good. I think they might be great, so or like like actually strong now. So I can't not justify it. I need to play a like Ignite Slam build. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I gotta get to, but yeah. Like I said, sorry if this video feels a little lazy. If you guys do find it useful, please let me know. And if you think it sucks, please tell me I suck. I'll take it very personally and get defensive, but I actually like the feedback because it's just good to know. Like I need some direction. I'm too all over the place. I've got too many ideas, and I need constraints. But anyways, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions or any cool ideas. Hopefully not something too cool because I literally just rerolled, so I don't want to get debated. So I'm gonna stick with this for a little bit. I want to at least get like the melting setup going and like kind of become immortal, and then yeah. You guys saw the damage, right? The damage is nuts. I just need to fix the defenses. So that's the easy part. That's not true, but you know. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, duh. I guess let me know if you want to see these like daily or something. I don't. That seems too much, but I mean, I could do that pretty easily. I just want to know if you guys find that useful. All right, I'm done asking like this. Thank you for coming to my survey. You know. But all right. I'll see you guys later. Oh, and one more thing. I feel like freaking Jackie Chan's uncle. But like, yeah, so I was pretty happy playing like Power Siphon. Really powerful, incredible league starter. But I learned a valuable lesson that I feel like I already know, but I keep redoing it. When I practice a build way too much before league start, I get bored like immediately. Like I hit like around like 88, and I started just like kind of zoning out in my hideout. I was just thinking about other stuff to do. Yeah, so next league I want to play something a little bit more speculative at league start. I'll probably not recommend you do that. Like, you know, I'll recommend what I think's good, but then I'm going to do something a little bit more nonsense because otherwise, yeah, it's like when it's too practice, it's like I already knew what all the upgrade paths were. This is like not, I don't know. It wasn't super interesting to me because I literally feel like I've already been there. But yeah, okay, that's finally it. I'll leave you alone.